Politicians promise it, scientists pursue it, journalists claim to report it, and philosophers spend their lives trying to define it. But when you really stop and ask, what is truth? The answer suddenly becomes slippery. Is truth just what works? Is it what most people agree on? Is it something absolute, or is it always relative to perspective? In our time, we live in what many call a post-truth culture. People speak of my truth and your truth as if truth were a matter of preference, like choosing a favorite flavor of ice cream. Social media amplifies this confusion. Every opinion can be broadcast, every idea can be dressed up as fact, and often the loudest voice gets mistaken for the truth. But deep down, we know truth cannot simply be relative, because if everything is true, then nothing is. So what is truth? Let's start with the classic definition. The ancient philosopher Aristotle said, "To say of what is that it is, and of what is not that it is not, is to speak the truth." In other words, truth is the correspondence between our mind and reality. If I say it's raining outside, that statement is true if in reality it is raining. Simple enough, right? But already questions arise. What about perspectives? What about interpretation? Take an example. Two people witness the same car accident. One says the car was blue, the other swears it was green. Does that mean truth is relative? Not quite. There is a fact about the car's color. It either was blue or it wasn't. The disagreement is not about truth itself, but about human perception. Truth doesn't change. Our grasp of it does. This leads to an important point. Our opinions, our feelings, even our collective agreements do not create truth. They may bring us closer to it or lead us away from it, but truth itself exists independently. The earth didn't suddenly become round when people stopped believing it was flat. It was always round. What changed was our understanding. Still, throughout history, different theories of truth have been proposed. The correspondence theory, truth is when what we say matches reality. The coherence theory, truth is when our beliefs fit together in a consistent system. The pragmatic theory, truth is whatever works in practice. Each of these captures something, but none of them exhausts the mystery of truth. And here's where the modern confusion begins. In the name of tolerance, people often say, there is no absolute truth. But notice, that statement itself is claiming to be an absolute truth. To say there is no truth is to make a truth claim. The idea collapses on itself. We cannot escape truth. It is inescapable. Now let's go deeper. Truth is not just abstract, it shapes our lives. Imagine a world where truth doesn't matter. Contracts mean nothing, relationships are built on lies, justice is impossible because facts don't count. Very quickly, society collapses. Truth is the foundation of trust. Without it, everything falls apart. But truth is also uncomfortable. Why? Because truth makes demands. If something is true, it doesn't change because we don't like it. If I say gravity doesn't apply to me, I can step off a roof and test that claim, but reality will have the final say. In the same way, moral truths confront us. To say lying is wrong or that every human being has dignity isn't always convenient, but it remains true whether we like it or not. That's why people sometimes resist truth, not because it's unclear, but because it challenges us. The German philosopher Nietzsche once wrote, "We have art so that we shall not die of the truth." He saw truth as something hard, even painful, and he was partly right. But the Christian tradition adds something crucial. Truth is not only demanding, it is liberating. Jesus said, "The truth will set you free." To know truth is not to be crushed by it, but to live in alignment with reality, with meaning, with God's design. Of course, not everyone sees truth as tied to God, but it's worth noting, if there is no higher source of truth, if it's just social agreement, then truth becomes fragile. What one group calls true today, another can overturn tomorrow. In contrast, if truth has an ultimate foundation in God, then it is unshakable, something deeper than passing opinion. That doesn't make truth easy, but it makes it real. Now, let's bring this down to our daily lives. Each of us wrestles with questions of truth. Am I being honest with myself? Do I speak truthfully to others? Do I live according to what I know is right, or do I hide behind convenient lies? These questions matter more than abstract theories because truth is not only about facts, it is about authenticity. To live truthfully is to live with integrity, without masks. And here is another paradox. We long for truth, but we also fear it. We want others to be honest with us, but we are often afraid of being honest ourselves. We demand truth in politics, but sometimes prefer comforting illusions in our personal lives. Why? Because truth is costly. It forces us to face reality, to admit when we are wrong, to change course when needed. But at the same time, truth is freeing. Think about a moment when you finally told the truth after hiding it for a long time. The relief, the clarity, the freedom. Lies weigh us down, but truth lifts us up, even if it hurts at first. That is why philosophers, saints, and poets across the ages have said, "It is better to live with a hard truth than with a comforting lie." We see this in history. When societies abandon truth, when propaganda replaces fact, the result is always destruction. But when people are willing to stand for truth, even at great cost, freedom and dignity emerge. Think of figures like Socrates, who preferred death to betraying the truth, or countless witnesses throughout history who refused to deny what they knew was right. Their courage shows us that truth is worth everything. So, what is truth? On one level, it is the alignment of our thoughts with reality. On a deeper level, it is the foundation of trust, freedom, and meaning. And for believers, truth is not only an idea, but a person. In the Christian tradition, Christ says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." That claim is not just theological, it is existential. It means truth is not something cold and abstract, but living and relational. To know truth is ultimately to encounter the one who created us and calls us into relationship with him. But even if you are not religious, the search for truth still defines human life. Every scientist who runs an experiment, every journalist who investigates a story, every person who asks what really happened is participating in that same search. Truth matters because without it, life itself loses coherence. So maybe the better question is not simply what is truth, but am I willing to live by it? Because truth is not just something we talk about, it is something we embody. It is lived in honesty, in courage, in integrity. The question each of us faces is whether we will settle for comfortable illusions or whether we will dare to align ourselves with what is real. And maybe that's why Pilate's famous question in the Bible, "What is truth?" still echoes today. He asked it while standing in front of Jesus, but he didn't wait for the answer. The challenge for us is different. Not only to ask the question, but to keep seeking, listening, and living by the truth wherever it leads. In the end, truth is not optional. It is the ground we stand on, the light that guides us, the bond that holds society together. Without truth, we lose freedom, meaning, and even ourselves. With truth, even if it is hard, we find clarity, strength, and hope. So, what is truth? Maybe the best way to put it is this: truth is reality spoken and lived. It demands courage, it challenges our illusions, but it also sets us free. And the search for truth is not just a philosophical puzzle, it is the adventure of being human.